All right, guys. This is Frank with Airlines Tycoon Manager. Um, so what I'm going to go over here is 168 routes. Okay, so a few things here to before you can start doing routes is to have the tools to help you make routes. Okay, so you don't just pick flights end to end wherever you want. Hope for the best. Maybe they fit in your plane or not. So, first things first is that you want to know where you want to go, how long you're going to go, and um, will whatever plane you're using will work. Okay, so one thing that I did when I first started playing is that I made a little sheet of the planes that I like flying the most. At the time, it was the 757, the 777, the 787, and then after a while, I was able to unlock the Airbus 380, um, and of course the 747 400. So once you have your plane that you want to choose, the next thing you want to do is to make sure you know how to factor your seating arrangement. Okay, so when you do look at um, your seat count, and that is figuring out what plane you want to use. Okay, so you can see here, this was my cheat sheet. I mean, this is basically what I used when I first started. Okay, I really don't need this anymore, but this was mine. This is how I did it. And you can see here, one thing you need to realize is that once you figure out that your favorite plane that you want to fly is to know how to use that plane seat count with your demands. Okay, so um, if you see a plane that you're favored with, remember that routes go both directions. They go and then they come back. So even though like this 7879 has a seat count of 420, you need to factor 840 because that's going and coming back. So if your demands are not at least over this number, then you get the red negative demands. Okay, that means you're basically flying the plane empty, and you don't want that. So it's always better to have a little bit of green. I mean, obviously, the best thing is to have zero, but if you have green on there, is always a good thing. Green is better than negative values because you don't want to be flying the plane empty because an empty seat isn't making you money and you're just wasting fuel. And that's how you have to look at it. Okay, so in this 168, I'm going to show you. You'll notice there on the side that I've already picked the flights that I'm going to use. Okay, you'll see that I am going to fly out of Jakarta, which is airport code CGK, and I've already did some homework here. Okay, this is one thing you're not going to be able to avoid. You got to write this stuff down. Don't do this on the fly, or you won't, or you're just going to get confused. Okay. Um, so I'm going to end up. I don't know what happened there. Oh, sorry. I'm going to end up. I'm going to use my 747-300. It seats 608 people. Remember that value is times 2. So my minimum demand I'm looking for is 1216. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I've been playing this for a while. I have 9 hubs. I have all my my services unlocked in the R&D for or entertainment and punctuality. I've also done my services for that, and I'll show that to you here in a few minutes where that's at. And then I've trained my employees for both entertainment and punctuality. Because I'm doing long haul. Okay, by definition, a route that's over 6,000 kilometers is long haul. Any route over 14,000 kilometers is ultra long haul. So your long haul range is somewhere between about 6,000 to about 13,999. Okay, these are not my numbers. I didn't use calculus to figure this out. It's in the help section of the game. Okay, it's clear. It clearly states that. Okay, so if as long as you don't go over the 13,999, if you have all your entertainment unlocked and so forth, then you get the maximum economy demand bonuses, which is roughly about 88%. Okay, so in case you're wondering why people are getting 7,000 economy passenger demands when they buy a new route, that's why they're getting that. Another factor is where you fly to. Okay, let me switch over to, and we're going to come back to this back and forth. But we're going to buy these routes here. We see all these hours right here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and look at. I actually have this written down on paper. Okay, so, but depending where you're going is also another factor. If you fly to the United States, or you fly to Eastern Europe like Paris, London, Brussels, Switzerland, those cities are good cities, but they're also tri-class cities. So if you're looking for that high passenger demand of over 5,000 or 6,000, you may or may not get it flying there. You might get maybe 35, 4,000, and I'm kind of leaning towards the low 3,000s to maybe upward of 35 in that range if you fly to the U.S. Or more modernized countries, because they want to fly economy, business, and first class. Whereas if I fly to, say, African or South America or China or something like that, then my economy demand is going to be extremely high. My business and first class is going to be extremely low. I have some routes from MPM to China, and I have maybe like 5 business class demand, and in the first class it says 0. So you're going to see routes like that when you fly out of when you fly to and from a very high economy area. Okay, so it's just one of those things to just watch out for. So let me show you here where we can find these routes. So this is one thing about in the game is that when you come to the game, and let me shut this off and let me turn this on. Okay, so now I've got this screen here. So when you hit the world, okay, you've got route creation. Okay, so the thing about this is that I don't use this anymore. I don't really use this button anymore for good reason, because now you have the route mapper in the very main screen, and here is why I prefer that over coming over here. If you come over here, you got to know the country. Okay, or rather, and once you hit your like Jakarta, I'm gonna do a thing for out of a 168 out of Jakarta. I tap on that. Now I gotta know where the city's at. Now keep in mind, obviously, I probably would have done this already. I would have written it down. Okay, fine, I get it. But it's actually easier if you just tap this and then hit expansion. And then hit, let me close that out. And then I can just hit CGK and then tap in my airport code. In fact, in this case, my longest route here was at NIM. It's a 27 hour, 45-minute route. Okay, NIM. So what I'm going to do now is that I will come over here, okay, and type in NIM. And then one thing to always watch out for is to make sure you pick your aircraft right here. Okay. And oops. Oh, by the way, I'm glad I did that. So notice how the time changed because I picked a different aircraft. I actually did this by mistake a few times when I first started playing this, and I was like, why isn't my airplane coming up on here? Well, I picked the wrong plane, and it didn't work. So it took me a while to figure out what had happened, and I fat fingered it, and I hit the wrong one. So I can see here it's a 747-300. It's 2745. Okay. Now, if you're wondering how I came out with this city to begin with, let me open your eyes and show you this. Probably the most common question that's asked in this thing is, how do you find flights for this and that and the other? Okay, so and I'm trying to let me shut this off and shut my game off, and here we go. So this right here, and you'll find two of them. This is done by some players. These are some high-ranking players. They're the ones that did this. The official one is this one. Okay, so this is right here. So if I'm flying out of CGK, I would put 747-300. It's a Cat 6. That's important. And then I do have the min and max of this. Now, don't leave this at 1 because this plane can't fly in a little Cessna-style airport. It's a Cat 6, so just do 6 here. And then the bigger the airport, the better, right? So let's say, now, you'll notice here that there's some things that are still kind of gray. It's like, okay, well, how do I find out 24-hour flights for this? Well, I can put 24 here, and I can do 24 here, and then give me everything that flies for 24 hours with this type of aircraft from this hub. Okay, so now there they are. Okay, I did not do that. I'm going to take this a step further. Come to this website right here, and these guys did Destination Finder, Aircraft Finder. Like when you're asking, well, what's the best airplane to fly from here to there with this aircraft? Or what's the best place to fly with a 777 from Charles de Gaulle? I don't know. Hit Aircraft Finder, and what you can do is that you can type in like this. I just did Icheon. And then I want to go here. Let's see. Oh, and in fact, I think there was a question online about this to Brazil. Okay. And then I'll just hit search. It may or may not find something. Yeah, no results found. I didn't think so. I believe that was his question. But the thing, though, is that I use this for is right here, the circuit finder. You see that right here? Oh, my God. This is going to be your best friend in this program. So you come over here and you type in Boeing 7. I'm flying a 747-300. You can do full search, or you can just type in the airport code. That's up to you. I'm doing 168. See, you got different filters here, but I want a 168. I'm doing all economy. You can do tri-class. I guarantee you it'll send you to the U.S. I'm going to do economy, and I want long haul, and I want 7 routes. Okay, can you do 6 and 5? Of course you can. The less you do, the more longer the route. Now, granted, the longer the route, the more money you make. But the reason why you want to do 7 is because you want to run a flight 7 routes on 7 planes, hits every week. And then you rotate them by 24 hours. And I'm going to walk you through that, okay? So I've got 7 routes. Make sure I don't go over that 14,000 limit. Remember, I was talking about the definition of long haul. Okay, don't. I want to maximize my bonus for that. Excuse me. So I'm going to have that check mark. Now, if you're using this website and you already have routes on there, you probably want to just write those in here, because what will happen is that, you see, these are my hubs. So I don't want this search engine here to give me part of my 7 routes for my 168 to someplace I'm going to already. So this is important to use. Airports to exclude. If you're going to Tokyo Narita on another route you have already, then make sure you put that here. Otherwise, it puts it in part of that scenario. So that's what this is for. So I'm going to hit search. And so now it's doing its thinking. And now it's going to give me my 168. Now, some disclosure here with this, okay? And that is, sometimes it gives you some locations here that either, one, you're going to already, or two, maybe you don't want to go there or whatever. Okay? The thing is to write down is this: 2515, 2430, 24. So really, I'm actually flying to some of these places already. I really don't care about the cities. You know what I want? Is this right here. I want the time. Because if you add all these links here, they add up to 168. So now what I'm going to do here is, I see this 2515. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to say 747.3. What was that, 2515? And here's why I'm going to do this. Because unfortunately, it only gives you 2 168 options. There is a ton of flavors out there. It only gives you 2. So what I'll do is that I'll just come over here and just write down the hours. And then I'll just come over here and say 2515, 2515. Or of course you can range it. That works too. And then I've got this CGK 747. Okay, everything's all set up. And then I'll hit submit. So what's going to do now is that it's going to give me a new list. See that? Look at that. A whole truckload. 17. It's giving me 17 different, 27 different, 17 different options for that hour range. Okay, for this right here. So I don't have to use NIS if I can use one of these other ones. Now, let me explain to you how you read this. So the destination finder does something that the Airlines finder doesn't do. Okay, the destinations finder, remember I told it all economy. So it knows these are the highest economy cities. Notice something interesting on this list? They're all in Africa. Cameroon, Angola, the Congo, Nigeria, Niger, Zambia. Sorry if I said that wrong. Kenya. Okay, so you start to see a sequence here. Okay, now I've already done this already in this graphic right here that you saw. Hold on. Let me go ahead and turn this on real quick. Remember this right here? I already did this. NIM, AB, V, LAD, FIZ, da, 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 da. I've already done this already. Okay, so now let's buy them. Okay, so now we'll go back. Now, see, we did some I haven't even bought any. I haven't done anything in the game yet. But you got to do a little homework before you do this, guys. Otherwise, you don't do it right, And then you start, well, why isn't it not working, So there is some thought process to this, but so let's go back to the Tycoon. Let me close these out. Got this back up. So now I actually already have this written down. So I'm going to do NIM. And of course, I'm going to buy this. Now, one thing about this to be aware of is that when you do this, you do have the audit. Now, notice mine says 0 is because I won some free stuff in one of the earlier giveaways, and they gave me 15 audits. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't need to audit anything. And if you're new to this and you're just starting to play, go ahead and do the audit if you have the money. That way you can just kind of see what's going on. You don't have to. I can't force you to, but the audit will tell you what is hidden behind the curtain, if you will. So it's going to give you your demands. Now, other things that I'm seeing out of here is my taxes per flight. I don't have any subsidies, so this is 0 for me. If this number is positive green, that's good. That means you got a discount. As you progress in buying more routes in a hub, your subsidies go down. When you buy a new hub, your subsidies reset. So that's kind of how it works. I ran out of subsidies a while back for Jakarta, so I am paying full sticker price. I don't have no choice. Okay, so and then I can see right here, this is a Cat 9 airport. NIM is Niger. I'm not even going to try to say that. Hell, I'm not even going to try to say the Jakarta one. I just know it's Indonesia. So I got my plane set up. It's 2745. And I'm going to go ahead and say purchase route. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just purchase this. I don't care. I have the money. And then I got the route. Now, look at that. 6610. Good choice. Okay, look at the business and first class. It's almost nothing there. Okay, so now if I flew to the U.S., this number would not be the same because that's a tri-class country. So this value might say like 3,500 at best, 3,000. And then my business and first class would probably say 600 or 700. I actually have some routes that are tri-class and they're really big numbers. So, yeah. So, okay, let's move on. You guys got the idea. I'm going to buy the other one. Was that ABV? Hit OK. That comes up. Route. Purchase. And you see, normally what I'm going to do, what I'll do offline, look at that one, 6,800. That's a good one. I'm going to write this down. I'm for the video, I'm not doing it. I'm moving on. But I actually have a little thing that I have here, LAD. And I actually write these down, and then that way I know how much demands and the hours and stuff like that. So this is something you would write down. So this is 2430, purchase, yes. Okay, look at that, 6,400. Okay, and then FIH, that was the next one. 2415. I'm just verifying. Yep. Okay. Purchase. Now I almost did all this before doing the video, but I thought, nah, I want you guys to see it. And look at that, 6720. You see how these routes are huge? Or excuse me, the demands are huge. That's because I'm flying to Africa. So this is NSI. Okay. And 2515, okay, it looks good. And we're good here. 5800, that's the lowest one so far, but that's okay. And then Johannesburg, and we'll purchase that one. So like I said, where I'm getting these, that's 6100. Remember, I'm getting this from here. Remember the list that I had here? Remember this? That's what you're seeing here. So I just got Johannesburg. I need to get Nairobi, and then we are done. So NBO, and then hit OK. And this is my shortest route. This is 19 hours. Hit yes. And there it is, 6141. So I am good. I've got my 7 routes, and I have my 7 planes. So now let's go build a 168. So now I'll just close this out. So one thing that I didn't do, or one thing that I've already done before, is that I already labeled 6 of my planes. And so I actually have them already ready. So one thing about doing a 168, when you have your planes laid out, you're ready to go, you've made a decision what plane you want to use for your 24-hour routes, or they don't have to be 168. If you're new to this, you start off small, I get it, but eventually you want to grow to the big stuff. The longer you go, the more money you make. But once you start doing circuits with multiple routes for that group, you probably want to develop your own little list, your own little labeling scheme for your plane. I get it. Some of you guys like to role play. You want to use actual like airline registration tail numbers. If that's what you want to do, that's fine, as long as it makes sense to you. But this is how I do it. So the way my numbering scheme works is that we're gonna build that 7th one together, but I have here Monday through Saturday, and then the CGK, the hub. This is my 12th 168 circuit, and then this is the first wave. Okay, that means this is the first rotation. I'll end up, you saw the demands, I'll probably end up putting about 3 or 4 waves on it. And then this number will say 2, and then 3, and then maybe 4. It depends how much I have left. So I do have a 747-300. It's sitting in the hangar at NPM, so let's go grab it. And then let's label it. So I'm going to tap on that, and then I'm going to hit configure. And then I am going to change the hub. A lot of you wonder, how do I move a plane from one hub to the next? This is where to do it right here. Okay, so I'm going to change it from NPM to CGK, and then come over here, backspace all this. Now the beauty of it is that I've already done this before. I've already done one, and I did a copy. So now I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to backspace and do Sunday, and then hit validate. It doesn't cost you anything to rename a plane or move a plane from hub to hub. That they don't charge you for that, so that's a good thing. So all right, so we're ready to go. And